Under the Blood Moon Sky, written by Robin Oakley. The cabin in the woods had been abandoned for years, but one night a candle burned in the window, a light in the darkness, beckoning. She should not have been there. The woods were shrouded in a deep mist, tinged with red, stretching far beyond her sight. This was no ordinary blood moon overhead. It seeped into the entire sky. It was the omen, the sign that the end was near. The apocalypse had come, and with it, beasts from hell would follow close. The last time she had seen that candle blazing, it had been in her dreams, shining at a distance. Like a living thing, reaching out to her. It haunted her, deep in her bones, and she needed to know why. She dragged in a shaky breath, feeling the frigid air sinking down into the cold, hard knot in the pit of her stomach. The oil lamp in her shaking hands flickered, as if it might go out at any moment. Her knuckles white from gripping so tightly.
Light is what banishes the mustards,
she forcefully said aloud, reciting a mantra to steady herself. As if the stars were listening. As if the entire cosmos were paying attention. She held the lamp higher. The protective glow illuminated only a small circle around her, revealing her own shadow, trembling and disfigured. Her heart beat like a drum, pounding in her chest, filling her ears so loud that she was sure even the trees could hear it. Yet each thump gave her greater courage. Murky silhouettes danced around her, taunting her with every step, but she persisted. A shadow swooped overhead. She screamed and stumbled. Sinking into the soft, spongy earth, the lantern slipped from her grasp and shattered. The final glow of the light sent a tremor through the earth, plunging her forward like a rag doll, plunging her into darkness. She gasped for air. Her body surged with adrenaline as the light and its protection vanished. She ran, racing towards the cabin, her feet pounding on the ground, slipping over mud and bramble. The words of the prophecy rang in her ears.
In the absence of light, terror lurks in the shadows, waiting to consume its unsuspecting victim. A moon, stained with blood, will seep into the sky. Demons will rise from the earth, and darkness will consume the world.
Climbing the steps to the porch, her hand raised to the doorknob. She could no longer ignore the pull of the flame. The worn texture of the wooden walls greeted her with a sense of comfort and familiarity. The door swung open of its own accord, and she entered without hesitation. Each step further into the cabin took her further away from the safety of the outside world, yet with each step, her resolve hardened. The gentle glimmer of candlelight filled her vision, and a faint murmur rang in her ears, as if someone were humming softly to themselves, luring her in, like a siren song. The door swung closed behind her, and then the voice was clear, cold and menacing. A rumble that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at the same time. It knew her name, yet she was not afraid. The alluring candle looked untouched, somehow, as if it had only just been lit. Her outstretched hand inched closer, extinguishing the flame, scorching her fingertips. She gasped. A wave of cold rippled through her, numbing every bit, except for a faint warmth radiating deep within her belly. She mustered what little control she had, gasping for familiarity in the pitch black, fumbling for the door. But she was frozen solid, locked in place, as if the shadow itself was holding her back, wrapping around her, constricting her. Whispers suddenly flooded the room, as if hundreds of people started chattering at once. She blinked, eyes adjusting, and then she saw it. A dark, sinister mass that filled the cabin, swirling around her, engulfing her in the air, chanting her name. The last thing she heard was the fury of voices cackling in the darkness, a medley of laughter, sobbing, and screams. The last thing she felt, a pair of cold, calcified hands closing around her neck. Glowing, putrid eyes met her gaze, cutting into her. Her lips parted and throat rumbled.
It's time.
But the voice was not her own. And then, there was only darkness.